Morning, everybody. It's what day is it today? The 6th of March. It's about 8:30 in the morning. Apologies, I haven't had a shave this morning. I will be doing that later prior to going out, but I wanted to make a quick video. I'm now at my 30th week without alcohol, so I'm just over 7 months or so. Which, as I know I say on almost every video, I'm totally surprised that I'm at that position. But also I do have a sense of pride that I've managed to keep going, and I will continue to keep going. I always find it very interesting. In fact, I was out last night with my wife. We went into London and we went down to we did a lot of walking yesterday actually, which was lovely, and we ended up, I don't know if any people know it, in a place called Colesdrop Yard, which is near King's Cross in London. It's been an area that has been rejuvenated over the last, I suppose, 20 years, and it's actually quite a nice area full of restaurants and upmarket shops and bars and things of that nature. And we ended up there in what's called a vermouthery, which is a sort of, I suppose, not a cocktail bar, but they focus on sort of sherries and vermouths and mixtures of all sorts. Anyway, we went there, and luckily for me, they had the only non-alcoholic drink they had was a brand of beer, which I had before, which actually is quite good. And I had one of them, and with some olives, and my wife actually had an alcoholic spritz, and just had one. And I was commenting to her. First, she was asking me how long it had been, and I mentioned it to her. But she also was. I also commented on the fact that whilst the bar was quite busy, I noticed there was two other guys both drinking what I was drinking, which is a non-alcoholic beer, which I don't think I've noticed before. Not sure why I noticed it this time, if I'm honest, but it does showed me at least, that in that small group of people there that I could see, and there was probably 50, I guess, men and women, there was at least 3 people not having a drink at all. So not drinking, if you take that as a sample, actually is a lot more prevalent than maybe you think. You're not on your own. There's quite a number of us out there, and there's certainly an awful lot of information, as I've said many times, on YouTube, of all sorts of people's stories, all sorts of people's challenges and journeys that they followed. Some have been successful, some have failed, some have been revisiting it for the multiple time. But what I've learned is, and this isn't just around alcohol, this is around anything in life, if you have a goal that you set yourself, however big it may seem to you, take small actions initially. I'm referring to alcohol, but if it was, as I was drinking, 4 to 6 pints a night, every night, take it down to 5 for a week or a month, and then 4. If that's your methodology of change, make it small and achievable. Or have a day that you don't drink, or have a non-alcoholic drink every other drink, or whatever it may be. For me, I just stop drinking, full stop. Don't know if that's the right approach, but I am where I am, and it may not work for everybody, but there's a lot of information out there to keep you on your journey, and I hope that some of these videos help others, because I know listening to others, it helped me. So I think it's important that you immerse yourself really in that world if you can. And seek help. There's plenty out there. Some of it is paid. I wouldn't necessarily advocate you need that initially, but you might. There are obviously options through various support agencies. Grab it all. I think most people know that they've got a challenge, a problem, and if you are sober curious, then I would encourage you to go and start looking, and if you can, start making a change. And my advice to anybody would be, try and do a 30-day, probably a 3-month period. That's enough time. I think certainly the 3-month period, you'll start to question your whole relationship with alcohol if you do that. So I just wanted to, give a very short video prior to my shave around, the fact that I'm now at my 30th week and I intend to continue. I'm pretty sure I will not go back to where I was before in terms of sort of consistent daily drinking. There is a big question mark, as I've mentioned before. Could I become a moderate drinker? Would I want to become a moderate drinker or not? Could I go out like last night and maybe just have one and that's it for the evening? I'm doubtful I can do that, but if I could do that, my next question is, why would I do that? Because what benefit is it giving me? And these are questions that, as a drinker, I just wouldn't have asked, because I thought the answer was obvious. Alcohol provides me something. When you stop drinking, you do question what it provides you. Hence the question. So, there's a lot of, hopefully, time in front of myself and hopefully all of you, where you can make these decisions and get your life back in order and get control of your life that isn't influenced and stimulated by alcohol. In fact, just one last element around the story about last night. When we got back to the station and drove the car home, my wife said, I feel a bit tipsy. She had one drink. She's not a drinker at all. And I remember got into the car and said, well, a year ago, I probably wouldn't have ever driven, because I would know I would have had too much. Or at least certainly close to it, but probably too much. So, our world has changed. I'm now driving her home as opposed to her always driving me home. It's an interesting shift, and I hope it continues. But in the meantime, maybe you could put the drink down. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.